everyone. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're diving into green jobs in Africa.
Right.
And before you think, oh, this is just another environmental buzzword,
Right.
we're going to unpack this report.
Yeah.
It's by FSD Africa. It's called Forecasting Green Jobs in Africa 2024. And it basically reveals this potential career boom that could totally reshape the continent. And we're talking by 2030.
Wow.
So forget what you think. This is about opportunity.
Lots of it. And what I find so fascinating about this report is how it really flips the script.
Yeah.
We often hear about Africa needing help with development, needing aid.
Right.
This report highlights how Africa is actually primed to lead a global green revolution.
Right.
They've got the abundant natural resources, a young and growing workforce, and they've got the chance to kind of leapfrog over older technologies and adopt those cutting-edge technologies. It's all there.
Okay, so they're not just playing catch-up. They're in a position to, be ahead of the game.
Exactly.
But what does that actually look like on the ground?
Yeah.
What kind of numbers are we talking here?
Well, fasten your seatbelts, because the report predicts a massive surge in green jobs.
Okay.
We're talking between 1.5 to a staggering 3.3 million new jobs by 2030.
Wow.
That's basically adding an entirely new industry practically overnight.
Wow.
And what's really interesting is they're not just, pulling these numbers out of thin air. They're using a demand-driven approach.
Okay.
So they've actually analyzed where the actual demand for these green skills will be.
So no more vague advice to go green. This is telling you this is where to grab your toolbox.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, let's break down the green job landscape.
Okay.
What are we talking about? What are the hottest sectors?
So the report crowns solar energy as the undisputed king.
Okay.
With a projected 2 million new jobs.
Wow.
Mainly in installation.
Okay.
And think about it. Abundant sunshine, readily available technology, and a rapidly growing need for electricity across the continent.
Right. It's a no-brainer. It's not just about being environmentally friendly. It makes good business sense.
Exactly.
What about, okay, say you're someone who's not ready to climb on roofs and install solar panels.
Right.
What other opportunities are out there?
Well, agriculture presents another massive opportunity with a predicted 700,000 new jobs.
Wow.
In what they call climate-smart agriculture.
Okay.
So we're talking about using technology to improve food production.
Right.
While minimizing environmental impact.
Okay.
Think solar-powered irrigation systems, high-tech greenhouses, data-driven approaches to farming.
Okay.
This is about feeding a growing population while also protecting the planet.
So imagine this. You could be a farmer in rural Africa, but you're also using cutting-edge technology to increase your yields and conserve water. It's tradition meets innovation.
Exactly.
But let's not forget about, okay, so we consume all those agricultural goods. What happens after? What about waste management?
That's a great point. As Africa's population grows, so does the need for effective waste management. The report forecasts up to 200,000 new jobs in this sector.
Wow.
With a focus on turning what many see as a problem into a resource.
Okay.
So we're talking about recycling, composting, even using waste to generate energy.
Okay.
This isn't just about keeping things tidy.
Right.
It's about creating a circular economy where nothing goes to waste.
It's like turning trash into treasure.
Exactly.
But with all these new job opportunities on the horizon, what kind of skills will people actually need to land these green gigs?
Yeah.
I mean, not everyone's going to be a solar panel engineer or an agricultural tech whiz, right?
Absolutely. And this is where the report gets really interesting. It breaks down the future job market by skill level. And you might be surprised to hear that it's not all about advanced degrees and specialized knowledge.
Really? So what's the key takeaway for someone who's maybe not a tech whiz but still wants in on this green revolution?
Specialized vocational skills are going to be in high demand. We're talking about technicians, installers, and those with practical hands-on training.
So someone with a background in, say, plumbing or electrical work could potentially transfer those skills to the renewable energy sector, for example.
Precisely. Those existing skills could be your ticket to a whole new career path. And don't worry, we'll unpack all of these different skill levels and the specific training opportunities in our next segment.
Okay, so we've got solar, agriculture, recycling. We're painting a pretty exciting picture of this green job landscape in Africa.
Yeah.
But this isn't just about any job, right?
Right.
It's about creating good jobs with fair wages, safe working conditions. It's about uplifting communities and creating a more equitable future.
You're absolutely right. And that's where things get even more interesting.
Welcome back, deep divers. Now remember those 5 focus countries we mentioned: DRC, Ethiopia, Kenya, Nigeria, and South Africa.
Yeah.
Each of them has like its own strengths and challenges when it comes to this whole green job thing. So let's zoom in on each of them, see how this green wave is playing out.
Okay.
So let's start with DRC,
Right.
the Democratic Republic of Congo.
It's fascinating. They've got hydropower potential that could, literally light up a continent. Massive rivers, powerful waterfalls. The raw energy is just incredible.
So it's like nature is like handing them the keys to a clean energy future.
Right.
But I imagine harnessing that power comes with its own hurdles.
It does. Building the infrastructure to capture and distribute that energy. We're talking dams, power lines, the whole grid. That requires massive investment and careful planning.
Right.
And then there's the social aspect as well.
Yeah.
They need to make sure those projects benefit local communities.
Right, yeah.
Not displace them.
Yeah.
So it's a real balancing act, for sure.
High-stakes balancing act, but potentially like a huge payoff. Speaking of payoff, what about Ethiopia?
Yeah.
They're already making some big moves in hydropower, right?
They're becoming a real regional leader in renewable energy, particularly with those large-scale hydroelectric dams that they've been building.
Okay.
But again, as with DRC, it's about sustainability. It's about making sure that those projects benefit everyone.
Right.
It's not just about generating megawatts.
Yeah.
It's about empowering communities.
It's about building a brighter future, literally.
Literally, yeah.
And figuratively. Now, Kenya has always struck me as like a hotbed of innovation.
Yeah.
Particularly in tech.
Yeah.
So how does that translate to the green job market?
Kenya is a fantastic example of how technology can drive green growth.
Okay.
They're making impressive strides in solar energy, and they're pairing that with their, really advanced mobile tech expertise.
Okay.
So imagine things like pay-as-you-go solar systems for rural communities. Managed entirely through mobile phones, they're making clean energy accessible and affordable.
It's like they've cracked the code for like sustainable development in the digital age.
Right.
Now, we can't talk about Africa without talking about Nigeria. It's the continent's most populous nation.
Yeah.
It's a major economic player. What's their green potential?
So Nigeria is a really fascinating case. They've got enormous potential in every sector, from renewable energy to sustainable agriculture to waste management. But they also face significant challenges, particularly when it comes to infrastructure development and access to reliable energy.
So it's like a classic case of high risk, high reward. Like they've got all the ingredients for success, but there's like some major hurdles to overcome.
Yeah, exactly. But if they can get it right, the impact would be just enormous.
Yeah.
Not just for Nigeria, but for the entire continent.
Okay. Last but not least, let's head south to South Africa.
Okay.
They've got a more, I guess you could say, like developed industrial base than many other African countries.
Right.
How does that play into this?
Yeah, they do, and that gives them a really unique advantage.
Okay.
South Africa has a real opportunity to become a leader in green manufacturing.
Okay.
So think about things like electric vehicles, solar panel production, even creating sustainable building materials from recycled waste.
It's like they can leverage their existing industries to like fuel this green transition.
Exactly.
But it's not just about the economic potential, right?
Right.
There's a social dimension as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And South Africa's got a really complex history. And part of this green transition is about addressing those past inequalities.
Right.
They have a chance to create a more just and equitable society by making sure that these green jobs are accessible to all South Africans, regardless of background.
It's about building a future where everyone has the opportunity to thrive.
Yes.
Economically and socially.
That's it.
So we've got a continent like brimming with potential. But the big question remains, how do people actually get a piece of this green pie?
Yeah.
What are the specific skills that are going to set them apart in this job market?
That's where we need to take a closer look at those different skill levels that the report identifies.
Okay.
Because it's not just about, having a fancy degree in environmental science. It's about having the right skills for the job.
Right.
And those skills can range from very hands-on to highly specialized.
Okay, so let's unpack those skill levels and help our listeners figure out where they might fit into this whole green puzzle.
All right, let's do it.
And we're back, deep divers, ready to equip you with the knowledge you need to navigate this exciting green job boom in Africa.
Absolutely.
We've talked about the sectors, we've talked about the opportunities, the unique landscape in each country. But let's get down to brass tacks. What are the skills you need to land one of these in-demand green jobs?
Well, the report breaks it down into 4 key skill levels.
Yeah.
Unskilled, specialized, general administrative, and advanced.
Okay.
And what's fascinating is that each of these levels plays a really critical role in this green transition.
Okay, so let's start with unskilled, because that might seem a little counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Unskilled jobs in a sector that everyone thinks is about like new technologies and innovation.
Right.
Help me understand this.
Well, think of it this way. You're building a whole new sector from the ground up, literally.
Okay.
You need people to construct those wind turbines, to install those solar panels, to plant those drought-resistant crops. I mean, these are hands-on jobs that don't always require, specialized training up front, but they're absolutely essential.
So it's about manpower. It's about putting those plans into action.
Exactly.
But what does that mean for someone who's, say, entering the workforce, maybe with limited skills? Where's the opportunity for growth?
Well, that's where on-the-job training becomes really crucial. I mean, these green sectors are expanding so rapidly, and with that comes a huge demand for skilled workers. Those who start in these entry-level positions will have the opportunity to learn new skills, gain that valuable experience, and potentially move into more specialized roles over time.
So it's a foot in the door, a chance to, build a career.
Exactly.
Okay, let's talk about the specialized skills, because this seems to be where the real demand is.
This is it. This is where the action is. As these sectors mature, we need people who can do more than just the basic tasks, right? We need people who can install and maintain solar panels, operate advanced agricultural equipment, manage those complex recycling processes.
So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, okay, this is me, this sounds like me, how do you get there? What kind of skills should someone be focusing on?
Think practical. Think hands-on training.
Yeah.
Electricians, plumbers, mechanics. These are all skills that are highly transferable to the green sector.
Okay.
With some additional training, right?
Right.
In renewable energy systems, sustainable agriculture techniques, waste management technologies. I mean, you're setting yourself up for success.
Don't underestimate your existing skills. A little bit of upskilling can go a long way.
Huge.
Now, what about those who maybe they're not interested in getting their hands dirty?
Right.
Maybe they prefer a more office-based setting. Where do those general and administrative skills fit into this green puzzle?
Well, every industry needs those behind-the-scenes heroes, right? And the green sector is no different. We need people to manage those projects, handle the financials, ensure smooth operations, navigate the regulatory landscape. Yeah. These are the organizers, the communicators, the problem solvers that keep everything running smoothly.
So we're talking project managers, accountants, HR professionals.
That's it.
The backbone.
Backbone, exactly.
Of any well-functioning industry. And then you've got the top tier, the advanced skills.
Right.
These are the masterminds, in a way, behind this green revolution.
Yeah. These are the researchers, the engineers, the scientists who are developing those new technologies, pushing the boundaries of what's possible, driving innovation in the sector.
Yeah.
They're the ones coming up with those cutting-edge solutions to combat climate change and create a more sustainable future.
Okay, so we've got the full spectrum covered. Entry-level positions all the way up to highly specialized roles.
We do.
But there's one more crucial aspect I want to touch on: job quality.
Yes.
It's not just about creating any kind of job. It's about creating good jobs with fair wages, safe working conditions, opportunities for growth.
Absolutely. It's about making sure that this green transition is a just transition, one that benefits everyone and helps build a more equitable society.
It's about lifting people up, not just the economy.
I love that.
So how do we ensure that happens? How do we make sure these green jobs are truly good jobs?
Well, it requires a multifaceted approach, right?
Correct.
Governments need to implement policies that incentivize businesses to create those quality jobs, protect workers' rights, invest in training and education. Businesses need to prioritize those ethical and sustainable practices, offer those fair wages and benefits. And individuals need to educate themselves about their rights, advocate for better working conditions, and really support those companies that are aligning with their values.
It's about collective action.
It is.
Governments, businesses, and individuals working together to create this more just and sustainable future. And I think what's so powerful about this report is it goes beyond the numbers, and it really paints a picture of what this green future for Africa could look like.
Yeah.
And what it would mean for the people who live there.
Absolutely. And that's what makes this such an exciting time. It's not just about saving the planet, which is, of course, incredibly important, but it's about creating a more prosperous, equitable, and sustainable future for everyone.
So if you're feeling inspired, if you're thinking, I want to be a part of this, take that first step. Explore the sector that speaks to you. Research training programs. Connect with organizations that are doing this amazing work in the green space. The future is green.
It is.
And the opportunity is yours for the taking.
Go get it.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.